Her name was Sophia. She never thought love could hurt so quietly. She always imagined it as something loud and undeniable, something that demanded attention and made the world stop. But the love that found her did none of that. It whispered, it lingered, and it cut her open in ways she could not explain. She met Lucas at a small bookstore. She often wondered when she wanted to disappear. He seemed ordinary at first, just another person browsing shelves. But slowly she noticed the details. The gentle way he ran his hand along the spines of books, the quiet concentration in his eyes, the small, unintentional smiles that lit his face. There was a warmth in him that drew her in, a calm presence that made her feel like she mattered in a world that rarely noticed her at all. And then she saw the ring, a plain silver band. Lucas was married. The knowledge should have repelled her, should have forced her to look away, to lock her heart away in a safe place. But it didn't. She told herself to stop over and over again. She whispered in her mind, like a prayer, "Don't feel this. Don't let it grow. Stay away." And yet, every day, the feeling grew stronger. Sophia spent countless nights lying awake, staring at the ceiling, asking herself why her heart betrayed her. She thought about him constantly, the sound of his voice, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled, the small gestures no one else noticed. She imagined his life, his home, his wife, and felt a sharp, almost unbearable pain, a longing she could not name. She tried to convince herself it was admiration, respect, a harmless infatuation. But her heart screamed otherwise, and she could not ignore it. She would catch herself watching him when she thought he wasn't looking, noting every detail, as if memorizing him could fill the emptiness inside her. Every glance he gave her, every shared laugh, made her chest tighten. She questioned herself endlessly. Is it wrong to feel this way? Is it selfish? Is it betrayal just to love someone silently? At times, she hated herself for it. She hated how her thoughts revolved around him when her life had nothing to do with him. She hated the longing, the ache, the way her body seemed to recognize him before her mind did. She hated that she would imagine scenarios where he smiled at her differently, where he noticed the way she noticed him, where maybe, just maybe, there could have been a future. And in the same heartbeat, she hated that she craved those impossible moments. Lucas never gave her reason to hope. He was careful, respectful, kind. He spoke of his wife with loyalty, never with longing, never with regret. And that loyalty, so simple, so honorable, hurt Sophia more than any betrayal could have, because it reminded her that he was good, that he deserved love, and that the love she carried for him was not for her claim. She often wondered what it would feel like to let go completely. Could she ever erase him from her mind? Could she stop noticing the small details, the gestures, the quiet warmth that made him impossible to forget? She doubted it. She doubted she could ever stop loving him, even though she had no right to. Some nights she would imagine speaking to him, telling him everything, spilling her heart in a torrent of words. And in those moments, she felt relief, freedom, clarity. And then she would remember he was married, that nothing she could say could change reality, and the relief turned into a heavier ache of quiet grief that sat with her long after sleep took her. Her life became a delicate balancing act. She lived around him, yet apart from him. She rejoiced in his successes, and celebrated his joys while quietly mourning what she could never have. She smiled when he laughed, feeling the sting of longing in the back of her throat. She stayed, even when staying was like walking barefoot on broken glass, because leaving would mean admitting defeat to herself, to the love she could never live. Eventually, Sophia realized the truth she had been avoiding. She was disappearing. The girl who had once believed she could be loved, who had believed in herself and in the world, was fading. Her love had no place in reality, and yet it consumed her. She could not continue to live for someone who could never see her the way she saw him. And so, with trembling hands and a heart full of silent tears, she made the hardest decision of her life. She left, quietly, completely. No goodbye, no confession, no drama. Just absence. Lucas noticed, of course. He may have wondered, worried even, but life moved on. He returned to the world that belonged to him, and she returned to hers. He never knew the depth of her love, the countless nights she spent imagining impossible futures, the weight she carried silently to protect them both. He never knew she had loved him enough to walk away, enough to suffer in solitude rather than disrupt his life. Years passed. Sophia healed not fully, but enough to breathe again. The ache softened into memory, sometimes bitter, sometimes tender. She learned to love again, carefully, without losing herself. Yet even now, when the world is quiet, she sometimes thinks of Lucas, not with longing, not with regret, but with soft, aching sadness that never quite fades. She never told him. She never blamed him. She never forgot him. Because the deepest love of her life was the one she was never allowed to live. And sometimes the love that teaches you the most is the love you can never keep. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, comment, and share.